gave you more than I gave to myself. You had me on a shelf, but now I'm somewhere else. I was bending, breaking, lost in your storm. Now I'm a hurricane in my purest form. You tried to play me like a fool, had me doubting my worth. Nah, I flipped the script on you, reborn from the dirt. You thought I stayed down? Nah, new mindset, I'm putting me first. This ain't no apology, this my reign. No more bowing down, I'm done with the games. Toxic love, no, I broke that spell. I'm the villain in your story, I wrote you. Messy goddess, fierce, wild, unleashed, untamed, not mild. Messy goddess, feel the fire in my eyes. No chains.
This is the Mediocre Black Woman Podcast, the space where we side-eye perfectionism and take a digital deep sigh. I'm Goddess Thea, writer, speaker, tech baddie, HR baddie, and a certified high achiever people pleaser in recovery. As a woman who cares deeply about culture in our workplaces, in our communities, and in our lives, I started this podcast in response to Kamala's loss in the election. It was more than political. It was personal. Watching one of the most qualified women lose despite checking every box. It hit a nerve. It mirrored what so many of us go through, doing the most and still being told we're not enough. That loss made it clear. We needed a space for the truth, a space for the tension, and a space for the release. If you've ever been praised for your resilience when you really just needed a nap, girl, or been the only Black woman in the Zoom room holding back a scream, sis, this is your space. Sometimes I'm ranting, sometimes I'm reflecting, sometimes it's healing wrapped in a girl, let me tell you. Either way, this is where we stop pretending and start processing. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, welcome to this bonus episode of The Mediocre Black Woman. I'm your host, Goddess Thea, and okay, so as the title suggests, I got laid off on my day off, y'all. Okay, let's get into this full moon. First of all, it's full moon in Capricorn, and the full moon in Capricorn is full mooning. Yes, okay. So, first and foremost, this full moon today is about reflecting on your life's work. It's about releasing what no longer serves you, and it's about recommitting to meaningful activities, things that bring you fulfillment, and focusing your energy on that. And I am a Capricorn Sun. That means, I was born in the month of December. People who are born in the months of end of December, early January are Capricorns. And my Capricorn, okay, let me kind of break this down. In astrology, there are houses within your birth chart, and each house has a meaning, right? And so I am a Capricorn Sun in the 10th house. And the 10th house is about career, your public life, your social status, your representation, your work, right? So this is really auspicious because they were like, look, she not gonna let go of this job, so we gonna let go of it for her, because guess what? I don't work a job, bitch, I have a job. Listen, so anyway, I'm all the emotions, you guys. So it's like I'm relieved, but I'm also processing. So y'all are getting the real time processing with me. So let me back up a little bit and walk y'all through this. So I decided that I was going to take time off from Thursday to Tuesday of next week, right? And so I was going to go see my sister. We were going to go to a concert, but then she got sick. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to stay home because I can't get sick. I just can't do it, sis. Love you, but I can't get sick, And it was going to be ludicrous, y'all. I was so excited. But anyway, so we didn't go to the concert, but I'm so glad that I was home when this happened, that I was by my work computer, because I don't bring my work computer on trips, y'all. I don't do that. So I was really kind of glad and relieved that I was able to sit in it, have time to process, and be alone, while I process too in some ways, right? So anyway, I just feel like you can't make this shit up when it comes to just the astrology, everything that's going on. So I want to back us up to that episode that I did a few weeks ago, it was about kind of like sitting in the unknown and being in the midst of the unknown. And what do you do while you're in the midst of the unknown, right? And I was literally going through that real time moment of, I have all these episodes that I could record, but none of them are landing with me a specific way. So, that means I need to talk about this moment of how I'm actually sitting in the unknown in a lot of ways. And so, wow, it's just, I love how everything kind of lines back up and comes back together at the end of it all. But yeah, so I was sitting in that space of being in limbo, kind of being in this murky place of like looking for the through line between my career and my personal pursuits and my passions. And I was just like struggling to kind of like figure out what was going to be my next move. And the God knew that I was not about to get rid of this job. So they were like, we're taking that away from you. So anyway, I had gotten to a point, especially last night, where I was like racking my brain. I was getting really frustrated. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let it be. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to enjoy where I'm at in my career. I'm just going to enjoy what's going on right now. I'm just going to status quo it, right? And they were like, nah, you don't status quo it, but thank you for surrendering, because now we can come in and do our thing, right? And so anyway, all that to say, I had worked up all this frustration and got to this point where I just threw my hands up and let them have it, right? And so, and have it they did, right? And I don't know, I know you guys are probably like, you sound so weird right now, like, aren't you worried about money? Yeah, of course. Like, aren't you worried about the future? Yeah, of course. But in the midst of that, I have been, just so excited about all of the synchronicities and all of the alignment, like I was in all of this restlessness for several weeks now, as you all know, and I just didn't know exactly why. And sometimes the spiritual doesn't necessarily catch up to your physical reality right in that moment. And so anyway, this is a welcome surprise. Also, there is going to be grieving that goes with it, because I have been in this role for a long time. This was one of the companies that I actually committed to, because I went back and forth between companies and roles for a long time, and I actually stayed put at this particular company for a while. So, of course, like, there's going to be grief. There's people around me that are going through it and handling it in a different way and showing up for them too, right? And so there's just this ebb and flow of grief, and that is not, that doesn't detract from what's going on right now. How I'm feeling doesn't detract from what, is going on for others, or the emotions that may come up. Grief is not linear. So, right now I sound like I'm on cloud nine. Tomorrow I might be like, what the fuck? I mean, I'm a little bit like, what the fuck, but not so much, I'm just like, okay, like, I'm here, I get it. But that's how grief works. It's not linear, So let me take y'all through how this happened. So I was on my day off, and I had just finished meeting with our virtual assistant, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. I had just finished meeting with Michelle, and then I got a text from one of my coworkers who's also my friend, and they were like, hey, sis, my role was impacted. And I was like, what is going on? So I log into my work email, and then I see that I was impacted too, and I was like, okay, all right. So, and I was like, okay, all right, cool. Like, took a minute. And then I called, different people, connected with different folks, just to like connect with folks and, ground with them too, and hold space with them too. Cause I felt like I was handling it in a different way, because I had been wrestling with this for a while, and with just all the changing energy around things. And then boom, this happens. You can't make this shit up, y'all. Anyway, so then after I did all the phone calls and did all the things, I decided to take a walk. I was like, I need to take a walk. I need to just be outside, let some sun hit my face, embrace the trees, and I just need to be outside. So I did that. And then I came back, and I had this burst of energy to just clean my entire apartment. So I did. Again, these are like the waves of grief. We don't know how it's going to affect us all differently. So I just cleaned my entire place, which I needed to do. My house is generally pretty clean, but it's just straightening up stuff, I have a pretty good routine around keeping my house clean. but I just wanted to straighten things up and get everything in order. And then I took a bath. I took a bath, and now I'm here with you all because my outlet has always been creativity, has always been creating something, also holding space for other people, because I'm sure that, you know, as sad as I could be about this or other people could be about this, I know that we are not the only ones that have gone through or will go through things like this, you know? And so I just wanted to share a few things with you all about kind of how I'm processing it and to help you if you're in this space. So I know some of us don't have the luxury to, do what I'm about to tell you next. Because I remember the last time I got laid off, I was a contractor. And so I didn't have as many options. And I, had to like really kick it into gear right away. This time I'm not in that position, thankfully. So I do have a little bit more of a cushion than I ever had before. So I'm grateful for that. But the first thing that I decided, this is funny, it's a deciding, but the first thing that I decided was that for the rest of the month of July, I am not making any major decisions. I'm not making any major decisions. I'm going to focus on continuing my creative pursuits with the mediocre Black woman, focusing on my health, focusing on being outside, on connecting, on, just focusing on myself. I am not making on any major decisions. I'm not, okay? This month is not for fixing. It's just for being still and, focusing on the things that I already love that fill me up. And this is where it's so important that your identity does not become your job does not become your identity, because I have things that I'm still passionate about that still activate me outside of my actual day-to-day work, right? And so that's why it's really important to have things like that. And so I'm going to be focusing and working on the mediocre Black woman pretty much full time now, which is exciting. So I'll be working on that. But I just wanted to remind you all, we're not our jobs, right? I am leadership development on and off paper. I am culture in the workplace, outside of the workplace, on and off paper. I am culture. I am clarity. I am care, right? I've always worked at the next level without the title. I've always been, been just immersed in this world of learning and development and leadership development. But that doesn't just extend to my day-to-day. Leadership development follows me in my work outside of that. It follows me in my relationships. Like, I am not my job, but the things that I learned and things that I culminated and I identify with are me. But my job, that's not me. Like, that's an extension, right, of my work and of my legacy, but that's not me, right? So I want us to make sure that we understand that we're not our jobs. We're not these titles that sometimes we place on ourselves, or that these statuses that we're trying to achieve or get to, we're not those things. And I want us to make sure that we let go of over-identifying with that. And something else that I said to myself in my reflections a few days before this, I just remember thinking to myself, like, I'm so tired of proving, And before all of this stuff happened, I was in the process of trying to figure out a new way to elevate my role, to figure out how to elevate my responsibilities and expand on it and include more of the things that I've become more passionate about. And this role just couldn't hold me or contain me in those ways anymore. Like, they couldn't support that expansion, right? Also, I told y'all I'm Capricorn in the 10th house, but I'm also, my planets are, one of my planets in the 10th house is Neptune, and Neptune is a planet of expansion as well. So I'm just like getting like all the, like, I'm getting the blast of like energy into that particular space, into career. I'm getting pretty much a revamp right now, like overall facelift around that. And so this just couldn't contain me anymore, right? And so I just want us to like sit with the fact that, one, we're not our jobs. Two, we don't have to make any decisions right away. I know in some cases we do, because I've been there before where I've like legitimately had to kick into gear because I was a contractor, didn't have certain options that I have now. And so if you are in the position to make decisions, like, or to not make decisions, do that. Relax, breathe, like just give yourself a moment to grieve, And if you are in a position where you have to make decisions, right, obviously, like, get yourself something that, you can support you right away. But in that, also think about what's next, what you really want to be doing, how you really want to be spending your time, because these things don't happen unless we're supposed to create and cultivate something even better, because if that was the case, spirit just left me where I was at. Like, you ain't gonna do nothing different or better with this opportunity we gave you. Okay, then you just stay put, you know what I mean? So I think that there is survival, because I'm not immune to that. Y'all know I told you I've been through food insecurity, I've been through poverty, I've been through all of this stuff growing up, as an adult, all of it. I've been through it at different stages in my life, and I'm not immune to that. None of us are. But if you can, think about, get your survival out the way, right? And think about what you can do next, what's going to really set your soul on fire. Like, what is the work that you want to be doing, not just the work that you have to be doing. um okay, so that is a post. I got laid off on my day off, y'all. And yeah, it's just so wild to see how those few episodes ago I was talking about this, and a few weeks before that I was trying to connect the dots, trying to figure things out, and I wasn't meant to figure it out. It was going to figure it out for me, and yeah, I was meant to be bracing for the moment that everything changed, and some things you just can't force fit yourself, right? You have to just surrender. And I do my own personal tarot pulls. I kept getting the hangman in my own tarot pulls, and the hangman is often about new perspective, about getting new perspective, about self-surrendering, about liberation, about independence, right? Development, right? Spiritual development. And so I feel like all of those things are true about today's situation. So yeah, but to any Black women, if you've been laid off or you feel left behind or forced to start over, I'm with you. You're not your title. You're not what they see on paper. You are who you've always been, and now maybe you're just more free to show it. Like, I'm sexy and I know it. Okay, I'm just saying. Also, I want to do a small little plug for our course called Spades and Shades. This is the tarot meets truth telling course. This is where we learn to practice the tarot in real time together. You start to develop your own interpretations. You start to really sit with the cards, feel the cards out. And we go over these every 2 weeks. I said every 2 weeks, but now that I have all this time, it's probably going to be every week, child. Y'all going to get these updates every week. But the course officially starts on July 18th. So Michelle and I are working in the background on some beautiful graphics and designs to upload and up-level your course experience. And I'm so excited that we could take this journey together. So make sure you clock in to Spades and Shade. I'll put the link here into the show notes. But I'm excited for this transition. Also ask me how I feel on Tuesday when I do my next episode for y'all. It's Tuesday, I might feel differently. I don't know. But as of now, I feel free. I feel like I've also lost weight just in the few hours that I've learned about this. I was looking at my face in the mirror. I was like, girl, the stress is like literally melting off of your face. The frustration is literally melting off your face. Like, so I'm really excited about that. And ask me tomorrow, ask me on Tuesday again, and I'll, see how I feel then. But as for now, I feel free. I feel happy. I feel grateful that it was, done in a way that I could, you know, um, actually embrace having the time to myself for a little bit. I wasn't traveling or somewhere, y'all know I'd be out in these streets traveling all the time, child. So I feel like I was just really able to like ground into this moment. Because had I gotten that news while I was like somewhere else, oh my God, I don't even know what my reaction would have been. Probably still relieved, but I don't know if I would have been able to like handle like not being able to check in with the people and stuff. So I'm glad that everything worked out the way that it did. Um but yeah, like this is a whole new chapter, And I'm so glad that you all are going to be able to be a part of this. I'm glad that I started the Mediocre Black Woman when I did, because I didn't know just how healing for a lot of us this would be, including myself, right? And so yeah, make sure you clock in with us on Spades and Shade. We're gonna really get into tapping into our intuition together with the cards, and having some fun with it, getting playful with it, expanding our intuition, trusting ourselves much, much more. So this is such an exciting time, and I'm glad that you all could be a part of it. Wow. Okay. All right, sis, that's it for today. Thanks for listening to the Mediocre Black Woman podcast. Remember, you're magic even on your messiest days. Don't forget to share this with your bestie and tell them to share it with their bestie too. See you next time. Take it easy and take care.
You ain't welcome here no more. Your hold on me ceased. I embrace the mess. Yeah, I take up space. I'm the goddess of chaos, running my own race.